It is weekend number 1 of the NZRL National Premiership, and this is game number 2, a replay of last year's grand final between the Akarana Falcons and Waikato. Hello folks, welcome to Mount Smart Stadium number 2. Stephen McIver with Louis Brown and Brent Webber in the house. Wherever you may be, I hope your Sunday is going fine. If you've just joined us, you've missed a ripper of a first up game where Canterbury had to hold on to a very impressive first up Counties Manukau side, 20 points to 18. We always give the winner the first crack, and being an ex-Riccarton boy, Louis Brown, is it one that got away from Counties Manukau?
I think so. They were leading by 2 points there in there, and sort of it was a game of back and forward, lot of mistakes. I thought they had enough ball to really seal it later on in that second half, and Canterbury snuck home, which shows the attitude of us boys.
Stop smiling so much. Webber, when you look, and we spoke to this about before the commercial break, the defensive effort with the likes of Ruben Wiki helping them, and an attitude by Spencer Taplin to play an expansive brand of footy, it paid off almost, didn't it?
Almost. I think neither side really, as Louis said before, took the game by the scruff of the neck. But, Canterbury managed to hang in there long enough and to give themselves an opportunity at the end. Yeah,
now, of course, we were up for the grand final replay here. This is Waikato up against Akarana, who belted them in the final last year. I think it was Waikato that scored the first try, 30 points to 4 in the end. This is going to be an interesting one because Auckland have only had a week's prep off the back of Fox, shall we say, celebrations by a number of teams. How much do you think that plays into Waikato's hand, if at all?
Yeah, I don't really think it plays too much in their hand. Like, they've been playing footy pretty reasonably soon, but Akarana got a great chance today to showcase why they're the reigning champs, and but you can't count out Waikato. They've got two experienced halves, and Darren King and Hayden Karina to put them around the field nicely. Yeah,
Hayden Karina has been around for a long time. A lot of Tani Wharau boys there, who are the Waikato champions, and so you'd expect them to come out fizzing at the brim today, wouldn't you? Just to have a crack early, and because as we saw today, it was a game of centimetres, wasn't it?
It was, and it was just almost the team that hung in there the longest and could control that ball just a bit better than the other came out on top.
That was the most overriding thing today: control, fifth tackle options, and just that one word that we've used or used: execution.
Execution. Well, that's what it's all down to, footy. And to be able to execute well, you've got to put yourselves in good positions on the field, and then give yourself a chance to have a go.
Yeah, you probably got to realise that this is a rep footy. They probably haven't spent much time together, gelling together, new combinations, and execution's probably the byproduct of that. Sort of coming up with mistakes. But as the comp goes on, they'll get better.
Hey, just before we go to this one and join Dale Husband for the commentary along with these two blokes, what do you make of the NRL finals so far? Aren't they absolute rippers?
Mate, outstanding. You can see the cream definitely rises to the top, and the players themselves on this sort of on those occasions, it's been outstanding.
And Louis, just quickly, seems to be every winning team right now, the halves are delivering.
Yeah, well, last night Reynolds, he took, when the game was on the line, he took it by the scruff of the neck, and he sort of controlled it, and he won it for them. 3
drop goals, unbelievable. And you can see all these finals in the NRL, the Telstra Premiership, right here on Sky Sport. But right now, replay of the 2017 NZRL Premiership Grand Final between the current champions Akarana and Waikato. Here's Dale Husband.
Thank you, Stephen. Here's the lineup, and it's chock-a-block full of really talented players here. Coming off the back of the Fox Championship, unsurprisingly, there are plenty of representatives from the finalists, the Point Chevalier Pirates, of course, and the Glenora Bears. Keep your eye out for Raulu Buchanan. He's in a wonderful patch of form. And Chase Bernard, too, has been setting the foundation well. Siwele Makawi, the successful skipper for the Pirates, he'll be in the mix as well today. He's in jersey number 3, but will be playing in the hooking role as well. They've got a stack of talent left, right and centre. And the team, the Akarana Falcons, coached by Keith Hanley.
Keith, welcome to season 2018. As coach of Auckland, there's always a target on your back, isn't there?
Yeah, 100%, Steve. We accept that, and we're looking forward to this year's campaign.
Short preparation because of all the Fox. How has the team gelled together in a short space of time?
Yeah, I guess in terms of numbers, we probably hadn't had those come in yet, with probably another week to see the benefit of that. But Yeah, we've put together a pretty cohesive side for today, and we're looking forward to the outing.
And in that situation, you look to your senior players. Who are those that everybody should keep an eye on?
Yeah, it's no surprise. It's the likes of your Francis Ledgers, your Dave Barners and Coma Sampsons. They've been through a lot of things, and they've led from the front before, and that's what we're expecting here.
Keith Hanley, as we await the teams coming out on the field for Waikato. They played a great brand of footy to get into the final last year. Just in the actual final, they faltered and weren't able to go with the Falcons, but we wanted to start off strong here, and much of that responsibility will fall on the 6 and 7, Darren Kingy and Hayden Cardina. Plenty of experience there, and up front, keep your eyes out too for Dennis as well as Darlington, the prop forwards. And Noda as well, a good distributor. He'll be weaving them around. Ton of representation, understandably, from Taniwharo and also from College Old Boys, the finalists in the Waikato competition. Let's hear, though, from the coach of the Waikato squad, Morgan Kutia.
Morgan, grand finalists last year, so are there expectations to be back in the big show again?
Well, it's good for us to be back here, and it's a privilege once again. Yeah, sure. Everyone wants to play in the grand final, and we'll just see after today.
Competition back in the Waikato has been over for a little while now, but how much confidence does that give you and the standard of footy you're seeing at the moment?
Well, we finished about 4 weeks ago. We had our grand final there, so we've got our team into training. It's picked up in the last 2 weeks, so we're doing well.
But you've always got to be wary of Akarana, don't you?
Of course, mate. They're playing through champions, so yeah, of course.
Anything is different we can expect from Waikato this year?
Pretty much the same, mate. Like last year, we took a few teams by surprise, and we can't do that anymore. So, it's on our own merits this year.
Well, Morgan Kutia has been a long-time contributor to the Waikato Rugby League culture. They're a very proud region. They were constituted in April of 1921, Waikato Rugby League. And look at the players that we've enjoyed who have come out of there over the years. The likes of Lātua Hire and Sam Warapira, Louis Anderson. Even the Wātene Lesniak boys played for College Old Boys before going across the Tasman. We're talking, of course, Dallin and Malachi as well, Tobias and Martin, also out of this proud region. But they're up against a team today that really have set the benchmark, and the Akarana Falcons have been solid in this competition over the last few years. Great to have both Brent Webb and Lewis Brown in the commentary position today, and Jets looking forward to seeing a good brand of football here. Important for Waikato to stay in touch early on, but they're a hearty bunch, the boys from down over the Bombay Hills, and we're expecting some big things from them. That's Francis Ledger, who gets the big C beside his name this outing. He's the captain there today, and the skipper today for the Waikato squad. That responsibility is Taimanu Huirama. Waikato Rugby League, of course, renowned too for their Māori connections. Taniwharo, of course, right next to Wāhi-Pā, the home of the Kingitanga, and as such, they proudly perform a Haka pre-game. The referees today, Simon Taylor is ref with his touch judge assistants Joseph Green and Nathan Barker Pringle. We just await the cultural start for Waikato. This is an aspect of New Zealand sport that really is quite unique. And here in the Premiership, very pleased to accommodate this wonderful show of cultural strength. And that resonating right throughout the ground here as well. And I hope you can feel just some of the mood that this Waikato team get themselves into as a result of that Haka. Lewis, you've travelled a lot with your rugby league, and Brent, of course, with your connections across the Tasman. But this is a side of New Zealand sport that really is worth preserving, and it certainly sets us up in the right mood for what should be a great start to this clash.
Yeah, I'm ready to go after that. Certainly, anytime you sort of watch the Haka or perform it yourself, it's always spine tingling. And I know, touring to other countries, everyone loves it, and it kind of breaks the barrier between the two countries and brings everyone together as one.
Come on, I've seen you go at it a few times, Webby, as well, and we'll talk of it in a moment. Let's get underway here. And here we are. It's game number 2 of the New South Wales Rugby League Premiership. A double header of action here on Sky Sport from Mount Smart number 2. And Waikato with the first touch of the ball. And the Kaya for the Haka gets a decent whack. That's Pawhare Brown. He's in jersey number 8 today. Waikato have possession of the football. And important to get away to a decent start. Piripi Parangi with it right now. And look at the Falcons coming in numbers. And already it looks like Pawhare Brown is down in back play off the very first collision of the contest. We'll keep you posted on that, but we'll stay with the action right now. And great defence here from the Falcons. That would be a really big blow to Morgan Kutia if Brown was out today. Pawhare Brown, another of the Taniwharo players. There's many of them in this crew today. Hamilton City Tigers represented, College Old Boys as well, the other finalist in the Waikato competition. But it looks like Pawhare Brown has been taken to the sideline. That's a difficult circumstance right from the get-go. As we see with the football, the Falcons now on the halfway line.
Left side, good.
So it's Ledger who has the ball first up. Good D coming in here from Huidama. In 13 today, 12 is Dennis. This is Bernard, outstanding season for the Glenora Bears. We're expected to take the final after being the dominant force in the Fox Memorial competition through 2018. It went down surprisingly to the Point Chevalier Pirates, who picked up another Fox Championship with a 6-0 win over Glenora in the final. This time it's Ledger who will put it up. Holds up a little bit in the wind. Waikato come for the ball, and it's beautifully taken by Taina Ngahiwi. And a good start for the Falcons. And the Waikato boys, well, they survive, and Damien Darlington is to ground on the 20-metre line.
What a great start to the game, both sides finishing off their sets nicely with some good kicking.
So now they play the ball just short of the 30-metre line. Waikato, it's a long game ahead. This is Tairakina. Inside, finds Edu Kepa. Edu now 6 metres short of the halfway. Kingi puts the ball along the ground. Will sit up at the back here for Polimi Siaki. Polima, another outstanding season for the Bears as well. He's put away on the 10-metre line.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with Akarana's physicality since the kickoff. You know, they've really put their stamp on the game with the defence, and yeah, they're looking more dominant than sort of Waikato.
Waikato, just early days for them. They'll have to match it though with Akarana, the defending premiers. The wall of defenders are in there early on, including Parangi. That's him with the big beard at the back. The inside ball for the big 8. Keriona Pasene. Good solid D2 from the boys from over the hill. That's the Bombay Hill I'm speaking of here. David Barner with a weaving run. Good to see him in the mix as well, David. Here's the kick, trying to split them at the back. Bouncing nicely for Damien Darlington. Taniwharo fullback, and what a solid piece of D there as well. We can shut her up here. Great defensive work from Bernard.
Mate, I don't think you'll pick that bloke out again.
Down the left side of Bernard's in there again with that big left shoulder. He's not the biggest prop forward, Lewis, but he's like you, mate. He seems to punch above his weight. Smaller of frame, big of heart, and a couple of good defensive efforts early on.
Yeah, he's put on 3 big shots here. He's the one that sent Pawhare Brown off, so he looks like a real leader in this team, Bernard.
Polima Siaki takes it 22 from his own line. He's got a whole lot of skills, Siaki. Everyone's in there early, but credit as well. This is Simon Luafalealo. Peeling out a dummy half. Closely cropped, fresh to death. The haircut there for Tommy Connick. 30 out. Lewis Brown, you're pretty famous for your haircuts as well, but I don't know that yours would match. In fact, it does. Looks like you've been in the barber yesterday yourself, mate.
Yeah, you've got to look fresh for Sky Television.
You've got to, mate.
I don't think I could rock that do though.
Here is Francis Ledger. Tries to put it into the end goal, but at the back, Darlington is steady enough. Almost ragdolled. There's Matt Tui Thomas, an outstanding year as well. Well, most of these guys have, and that's the reason that they're in representative honours. Tui Dummer again. One out, and tough as teak. Puts the tackle in there on Dwayne Sykes. Little bunched at the moment. Some jolting defence at the moment too from the Falcons. Ripping into their work with gusto early in this clash. With Waikato at the moment having no answers, they'll be happy enough to get to the back end of the set and get a kick away, I suspect. The ball over the top and into the hands of Tairakina. It's the last tackle, so very, very disappointing back end of the set.
Yeah, I don't think he realised that was the last, so there was a poor end to that set. They're going to have to really show up here.
Well, all players, all in the 17, they've got to learn to count, don't they, to listen carefully to the referee's calls. It's really disappointing when your inside men know that it's the last tackle, but those a little wider forget so. Pasini now. Well, the Falcons, we know they've got the abilities to rack up try after try. Waikato will need to focus here. Firstly to Connick, and Connick's towards the line himself. Almost sliced through and picked up an early 4.
16, hands around the ball, too slow.
And you can hear the call there from Simon Taylor at home. He's had a good year as well with the whistle, Simon. Here's Connick with another look. And a desperate tackle by Edu Kepa keeps Connick at bay. Here he is. He's caused a whole lot of problems already on D. This time on attack, Bernard gets them well set right in front of the posts. Little bit of a dummy, and as easy as that. As easy as that too for Sioali Makawi. He's playing at hooker and distributor in jersey number 3, and he's in to score just to the right-hand side of the posts.
He picked that out nicely. It was a great lead-up work by the run before. Was it Bernard again? And he just, a little bit of a show, and it opens up for him.
7 minutes in, and that's where you want to start it as well. They've put on a lot of work. They've earned that right with their solid defence, Lewis.
Yeah, it was a great play there from Makawi, but if you go back earlier on the set where they're defending, they were investing a lot of energy into their kick chase and their +2, which is where your markers get out and really try and chop down the meters that the other team's outside backs are making. So that's a credit to their D and the physicality that they bring to the start of the game.
Well, Coach Keith Handley's got a ton of experience in the local comp and, of course, guided this team to success last year. He'll be pleased with their start. 7.5 gone, up by 4, and this should be a gimme for the skipper as well. Francis Ledger. And Francis in 16 today. A bit of a shuffle around with jerseys. I guess it's to do with sizing. But Francis has been very, very solid throughout the season, and of course in the Fox Memorial Championship winning squad. He'll throw this one over, I suspect. Stranger things have happened. It's that one, of course, playing from right to left. Here he is, Sioali Makawi, the skipper of the Point Chevrolet Pirates, and he is very dangerous close to the line. Glad you could join us here today, wherever you are watching. That was the first tackle of the contest. And as you can see, Pawhare Brown, Dusty, I'm not quite sure whether that injury will mean that he won't make it back into the game. We'll see if we can get some word of that along the way. Waikato with the restart of Darren Kingy's boot into Ledger. Get it back to Bernard. Tairakina is up there quickly, and Bernard's to ground 22 from his line.
Yep, good start here. I think that Akarana are just going to want to punch this set out and put Waikato back under that pressure.
Connick, Bradley Buchanan, Tungamala, Beautiful ball back to the second row. He's very good, Raudu Buchanan, one of the best in the last couple of years in the local domestic comp in Auckland. Here's Siaki trying to create holes and problems, and he's achieving both with a spirited and sophisticated run into the infield. Right now, though, it's McCowie. He'll go right side. Ledger. Oh, this is looking dangerous. Danger times for Waikato. They can't afford to blink. This Falcons mob has just wanted to get all over them. And I bet Handley said, get out there and give it some punch, some attitude, some swagger right early on in the game. The crossfield kick almost lands in the hands of Siaki. But now Waikato have the ball, but you can already see them drained. It's been 4 weeks since they've played club footy. Now under the pump as well, as questions are being asked already as they try and get away from their own danger zone.
Akarana look right up for this. Waikato are going to have their work cut out getting out of this yardage set.
Well, remember, it's a repeat of last year's grand final. Waikato surprised everyone, as Morgan said, in the build-up to this game today. Well, we're no longer a surprise. Keep an eye out for the 12, I tell you, from Akarana. He puts a lot of good work together. Waikato will have the ball through Jordan Taylor. Out wide. Jordan, another of the Tani Whanau squad who defeated the College Old Boys in the grand final, and a poor kick as well from Waikato. So nothing coming up gold for them at the moment. It's a turnover on the 30-metre line, Lewis, and Akarana on fire.
Yeah, well, once again, they're showing why they're the reigning champions. And once again, they've invested in their energy early. First up contact's good. They're slowing the ball down. And then on tackle 4, tackle 5, you're getting a kick off the sideline, which put pressure on and puts it straight out.
One thing about representative play, your teammates are your rivals throughout the year, but then you get the cream of the crop as teammates in this representative play. And I guess a newfound respect. If there wasn't enough respect as an opponent, as teammates, often you realise just the skills you're up against in play throughout the year, as Bernard from Glenora again is very solid in his work. He's a good starter. He's doing this all year as well. McCowie thinks there's another opportunity from dummy half. He's slow to his feet, took a bit of a pounding there. Connick, inside ball for Ledger, and Waikato close it up. The pass deemed forward as well, and a sigh of relief from the Waikato supporters, no doubt, Webby.
Oh, definitely. Akarana won't be happy with that set. They did try and set up for something, but I think they just tried to push that inside play.
No, relax.
Simon Taylor, the referee, will be breathing heavy at the moment. Waikato.
Full pass, you'll go scrum.
Good to see Murray Haggy. He's training the squad as well. He was also in a couple of retirements or non-availabilities here as well. Aaron Jolly was outstanding through the 2017 campaign.
Stand.
He's not there this year. Darren Kingy will feed the scrum.
Let's get it right first. Take your time, mate. Okay, seconds down, binding tight. Front row's down.
Simon Taylor just letting both teams know what he expects of them at scrum time. Waikato just play a steady hand here to the ball by Murray. Has the ball. Raleigh Buchanan. Good the defence there with Connick, easy to pick out. And Thomas.
Release down, stand, square.
It's Rana Dennis. Up to play it into the middle. Waikato. It's okay, the set's unfolding comfortably, I guess, for Morgan Kutia. Want to get a kick at the back end and force their way down. Marcus. Tahi Hohaya Mosen. And then down the left side, the kick is from Malcolm Noda. And this time he weights it nicely. It bounces just a few centimetres inside the southern touchline, but that's a good set for Waikato and just steadying the ship somewhat.
That's exactly what they're doing, and it's good to see them just be able to bring it back together and get a good set away and end up gaining a bit more territory.
I was just mentioning some of the names that have come out of there. Lewis, Sammy Perrott has connections here. Dallin, Tamaya, Sammy Rapida, Lance, So Waikato's produced a whole lot of goodies, and that's in recent times, and that's not even looking back in time with the the Moodus and the Puckies, and you know, they've had some fabulous names over the years. So certainly not to be underestimated.
Yeah, they were a very proud rugby league region. You know, back when I was a kid, I used to play in the under-15 rugby league tournaments at Hop over there. And obviously they have the great Huntley Hurricane that's coming there last all higher. He's a good friend of mine, and he's a great servant of the game for Waikato.
Great. Where does he find himself now?
He's over in Michigan, actually, coaching rugby. He's gone to the dark side.
Oh, well, look at that. He's one of the most popular warriors, wasn't he, Lance? And his ability to come on at, off the bench and just create something out of nothing was uncanny. It's a guy who played any position, whatever the team needed. Halfback, hooker, fullback, you name it. Big up to the Hohaia whānau, they'll be watching him. Proud Huntley family.
Oh, good one.
G'day to Rex as well. Lance's dad, I know he'll be watching this afternoon. And of course the connections for Waikato, spread near and far. Picking it up on Sky's broadcasts across the net as well. This time, Waikato. Good defensive work too from Barner. Dave Barner, the right side, and that ball's been jarred loose in the tackle. So the good work quickly undone.
Not a positive set to the finish to the set there. On a positive, I've sort of been really impressed with the way Waikato sort of scrambled in defence. They're sort of still turning up for each other. With 15 gone and the way the game's gone, they're probably lucky to find themselves only down 6-0.
Well, certainly after losing their prop forward right from the start. This is Sala Falelua Malio. It goes without saying that they've had good club seasons, these guys, or else they wouldn't have made the rep teams. A little bit of a squeeze back for McCoy. He's got to be watched. Ledger. Francis almost pushes his way through the hole. Numbers down the right side. Siaki with the dummy. Siaki with the pass now, and Waikato will survive that onslaught. But only just. You get the feeling that Akarana, well, the reds of their eyes starting to light up now. Waikato get the scrum feed on the 10-metre line. Waikato's into the ground.
Waikato just seem to be hanging on, and they're doing it through pure effort, and so that hopefully they'll get some reward out of it.
Well, New Zealand is, and it's probably a generalisation, but we tend to back the underdogs, don't we, Lewis? So you get the feeling that Waikato's starting in that vein, even though they made the grand final last year.
Yeah, you can never sort of, doubt teams. When they're on and they're spiritually on, and when you're kind of enthusiastic, anything can sort of happen, And in some games, teams they're the favourites sort of overplay their hands a little bit and lose a bit of respect for the other team. But I think Waikato just keep turning up today.
Well, you've got to be in to win, don't you? So as long as you can stick there, and at the moment conceding that early try to McCoy after 7 minutes. That was 10 minutes ago, so to their credit, they're still hanging tough at the moment. As displayed by the Haka, they're a pretty hearty mob. And so from the far side now, trying to find his way through is Tate Akina. Jordan's been good. A kicking game's going to be vital today, Webby, from the Waikato team in particular, just because they're dragging the chain by the fast pace that the Falcons have started the game with.
Yeah, the Falcons have been seeming to get themselves out of their own end quite well, and so Waikato's kicking game is got to be a bit better than that one.
Yeah, that one went straight down the throat of Pulima at the back. Pulima Siaki.
Just beyond the horizontal. Just beyond. No. You didn't read the guidelines, mate. Henry.
Simon Taylor's renowned too for close communication with the players out there. It could have been dangerous, but he wants to stamp that out early on. Plenty to like about the way this is unfolding though. Coming up to quarter game time and not much in it. That would be the hope as Matt Tuidama
release down, 16 up, square.
runs into a warm Edu Kepa.
6.
Working hard. Bernard's been one of the best so far for the Falcons.
Hold! And go, hold with me, Darren.
Kepa forced to get into his work. Hardy and solid is Falelua Malio. Player just inside the 30, plenty of willingness here. Koma Sampson is a real talent. He gets it back for Ledger, and Francis pops the pass late. McCullough, Connick, bit of a dummy from him. Isolated through the middle, runs back behind Bernard, but that's okay. Referee Taylor was all on to it, no disadvantage to the Waikato squad. 18 out. Ledger, backdoor for Sauki. Now Raulu Buchanan. Raulu Buchanan over the top with a hook pass. Must have stolen that out of the YMCA. From the basketball fraternity anyway, Connick. 6 to go, troubling times. That ball's gone to ground and trying to get at it. Waikato, still a chance. Still, here comes Tuitama. Away from one, bouncing away from the defenders and almost embarrassing the Waikato squad. The backdoor flick is for Palima Siaki, and he's in to score. Well, they really need to look at themselves. Waikato at the moment looking at the ground, but they just gave far too much room there for the weaving work that preceded the pop pass to Siaki. Hard to understand. This is Tuitama away from 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And then the offload as well. Play on. And Siaki's in under the post.
Tuitama, just so strong. He beat about 5 or 6 defenders there, and the fullback Siaki to kind of keep himself in the play. He turned up there in the right, perfect time.
You talk about Tuitama, sorry, the spirited run there, and then the skill to look up and have the vision and pop it at the back there for the fullback coming. Well, all fullbacks do, like you, Webby, creeping up the middle looking for scraps, and he got one there.
Up the Fat Man's track. Hey, what were you doing up there all that time, Webby? Hey, just, you know, probing through the middle, hoping to get some crumbs off a good run. Well, Tuitama that time around. That's why I was saying they have to look at themselves, really, the defenders. He bounced away from 5 tackles, and all of them should have been made. Francis Ledger won't get any easier than this. He still goes through his routine. So 12-0 here for the Falcons. They came into the match as favourites, undoubtedly. Quarter game time. The lights are on here at Mount Smart number 2 in an overcast Auckland day. But at the moment, the cloud's starting to muster above the Waikato effort, and they'll be needing to get away to a better start this next set as well. But the Falcons, well, high on confidence. Anything can happen here. They might throw that ball around like it's a game of touch, and it could be really dangerous. Here he is, Matt Tuitama. Wonderful year in 2018. Lots to like about his attitude and his skills on display. Sky Sport, pleased to be the host broadcaster for the 2018 NZRL Premiership. Earlier today, we saw a 2018 result. The Bulls from Canterbury knocking over the county's Manukau Stingrays, and what was a great encounter. Now our attention to a repeat of last year's grand final, and the victors here by 30 points or so. Starting this match off with a real attitude. It's displayed here by Raulu Buchanan. The ball is out, play on, says the referee, out wide. Well, it's listed as Suapoe, but I'm sure that's not the case. And a knock on. Well, we don't see that too often, but it can happen in rugby league, and it just did.
Darlington, he just didn't give up. Didn't give up.
And then as the ground announcer says, unlucky, oops.
Well, look at that run.
Make sure it's in the middle. Zero coming. Move now! Stay square! Hold! 0.
Well, that's exactly what's not needed here.
Zero coming.
So back comes to the danger man, or one of many, I guess, for the Falcons, Tuitama.
Up now! Give room! With me! Hold! 0.
James Waterson, the left edge here in jersey 15. We've got him listed in 5, guys, but so here it is, danger time again. Falilu Malio, these big men are just causing problems aplenty. And for Morgan Kukia's squad from Waikato. There's Bernard. Well, he's really good. We've already been singing his praises, and for good reason too. One of the very best in the local Auckland competition throughout the season. And he's to rub salt into the wound of Waikato under the posts again. It's going to be 18-0 in a few moments, Lewis.
Yeah, you've got to be happy with the way Falilaleo Marlo's come on. He's really put the impact on, big as his hair. And then the big fella, Chase Bernard, he's had a great start to the game on defense, and then once again, too big, too strong.
And just McCowie, his work at a dummy half today, he's taken advantage of a lot of things around that ruck, but Bernard, he's been outstanding.
And the defence close to the line, sus, and some disappointment on show there from Malcolm Noda, who was unable to go with Bernard. Chase Bernard, well, the trainer is Haka. He's giving great service to this Waikato squad. They would have come here with high expectations, but at the moment they just have not been able to get hold of the ball and dominate in any way. The Falcons have just been on top right from the first defensive hit, to be honest. When Parfait Brown had to exit the arena, Ledger would say, well, these are 3 of the easiest that I've had in my career. And it's been a good career as well. 18-0 would say it is, and it sure is that. Even so, good to have you along as we check the key. 18-0, first half, Mount Smart 2 here in Auckland. But, Chase Bernard's just been superb. It's Coma Sampson, one of the young guns really. Played Warriors 20s.
Time to run.
But had a little stint in France as well. Just looking for opportunities. Now back and working for a health service out in South Auckland. He's a wonderful ambassador for that sort of work as well.
Stand square. Hold.
Good young character on in 15 is Ivan Watanek. That's Ivan. Proud to say one of the Neffs.
Stand up. 0.
Got a Neff. Oh, yeah. That's a serious sort of a whack, wasn't it? Tainangahui.
Lead him up. Hold. That's 1.
It's the business applied. It's so important here, Webby, that Waikato do well. Coming in from the fullback is Darlington. They're in strike range here, and so how will they be able to use the ball at the back end of the set? Can they put some pressure on? This time it's not applied by Tairaki, easy pickings. And a penalty.
Twisting on the tackle, working him.
Working him. Chaz Brown,
Sorry, when you're ready.
star of the Denora Bears this year. So Waikato have it. Watane on the inside for Kepa.
Move now!
McCowie puts the tackle on.
Sure. Hands in there.
And McCowie is censured for
Not quick.
his role in dislodging the ball. They're just holding up at the moment. Kepa, here's a good chance for Waikato to really put a spring in their step if they're able to get one back. Darren Kingy goes for the line himself. The Falcons won't have a bar of that one as they wrap him up. Now Malcolm Noda, very experienced Malcolm, going out to the short side but under some pressure. Waikato have helped their man out on the far side too. Tairaki
Good 3. Play on.
Karina.
Move now!
Watane. Right in front of the post. Noda skirts left.
Good.
Looks to put it on the inside.
Play on.
Still play on.
Get him up now!
Well, a disappointing conclusion from the Waikato perspective.
Yeah, very disappointing from Waikato. They sort of probably didn't have any, much flow in their attack there, but credit to Akarana. You know, shows they're a great team. They pride themselves on the defense, and they've really done that the first 30 here, especially down the line and come up with the trumps there.
Tugamala now Ledger, and he picks up on Luafalealo.
Up now, 4.
8 short of halfway. Falcons on the roll again. Graham Suapoe, look at him, he's a big man, and he makes inroads with relative ease. Now for Ledger, he'll put it over the top and put some pressure on at the back on Darlington. Steady under that pressure as well, Damien. He does well to stay in the field of play. Sucking in the big ones at the moment. Waikato slow to retreat. And still there is pressure on here. Ill afford to be driven back into the end goal. This time it's Ngahiwi who will play the ball, and now the forwards finally arrive for Waikato.
Good, 3.
Willingness to carry comes from Rana Dennis.
Right side. Good, 4.
No to distribute.
That's good.
Akarana with the chip kick over the top. And it does find its way into touch. We're going to try something different. I guess that's commendable.
I guess so, but I really think they need to get their set started or finished. Sorry, down in the deep in Akarana's half, I think.
So maybe a better bit there to punch it deep and put a good chase on, Lewis.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best option there. He's got a chance his arm a little bit, the Karina, but it didn't come up the bounce there. But you know, it's 18-0. That's got to get back in the grind and trying to change the momentum of it. But I'm still looking at the size of the number 22 and the Sui Pui as well. They're two big humans in the front row there for Akarana.
Yeah, they're pretty imposing figures. We saw, was it last night when St George had a play on the 5th and final tackle and decided to run the ball, and it proved to be crazy in the context of the game. Easy to say what should happen from the commentary booth or from the sideline, but sometimes in the intensity of the moment, the on-field decisions can falter. Sirali Buchanan came out of nowhere, he quickly made a name for himself by way of his attitude and his work rate. This is Falulua Malio. Now Waikato again. Microscope on its defence. Be hard to stop this big man as he comes through onto it. Graham Suapoe. Down the right side, they've got numbers. It's Ledger who will just make it look so easy. Francis Ledger, the skipper today for the Falcons, scores try number 4.
Yeah, just a bit soft in D there. There wasn't a lot going on, just a little bit of a show from Ledger, and was able to crash over.
Francis Ledger, this is Darlington, is it? He looks to be in some serious pain. I hope his leg's okay. If you were Richie Barnett, you'd be giving us a diagnosis from the side. But he's in some serious bother at the moment. I'm thinking it's Darlington. We'll get another look at it in a moment. There's your try scorer, Francis Ledger. And it was just one off, a little bit of a show. Now to Damien, and now Francis Ledger gets his most difficult conversion. And even this one looks pretty straightforward to a man of his considerable talents. Goes through his routine. He'll swing his arms here now. Stylish off the tee, and stylish in the hairdresser's chair as well. Francis Ledger.
Speaking of Francis, he's had his fair share of injuries. Shows the mental toughness of the bloke. When I was at the Warriors, he actually broke his neck, and he was in traction for a while. So credit to him to get his. He was a promising young man, and he was in the Warriors system. So credit to him going through the tough times, but he's come out the other side. Good to see.
Yeah, thanks. And I'm pleased you're able to reference us back and forward like that too, Lewis. It's a reminder of the neat people you've played with during your career. And I know you played at a number of clubs, but Hey, you've been exposed as teammates to, you know, a whole stack of amazing talent across the time.
Yeah, it's been good, mate. I had my fair share of clubs, so had a fair share of teammates. But it's those bonds that you build over the years that you hold on for forever, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Well, they're good memories to carry as Raleigh Buchanan again, terrorising the Waikato outside backs down this left edge as they get the roll on. It's just on fire at the moment, and they're going to be really difficult for Waikato to contain now. Koma Sampson. And these types of offloads, again, just a reminder, they're up by 24-0, so they can let the ball have some air and play with a whole level of confidence. This will be sending a message
All about 3 metres in front.
out to counties Maruko as well as to the Canterbury Bulls. This performance so far from the Falcons.
Chaz.
The reigning premiers for a reason, and Keith Hanley has them running in good style at the moment. Suapoi to the line, look out here. Koma Sampson's poised on the left-hand side. They won't use him. They'll go to Connick. Connick out the back for Siaki. Siaki to the line himself, bounces away from one, and then is wrapped up, put away by Palangi.
Good. 2.
Well, now's a chance to stand up and be counted. Koma Sampson has a run towards the line, and he is very close, and in fact has been able to get the ball down. Simon Taylor well positioned, but now the Falcons are really, well, they're starting to embarrass this Waikato squad. Sure, they've had a lot of adversity, but at the moment it's like men against boys in a way. They're just having their way with the Waikato defenders.
Sampson's been on a mission since he's been on. He's broken tackles, scoring tries. But once again, you were saying earlier, Dale, he's come from the Warriors background also, and he spent some time over in France. And you can just see who's sort of been in the systems and that they sort of rise to the top in this type of footy.
Yeah, he's a good player though. Sampson, great name for a strong run.
He's got the beard too.
Yes, as well. Great to have you along here this afternoon. Dale Husband with Brett Webb and also with Lewis Brown. On debut in the commentary position. You guys enjoying yourself?
Mate, yeah, I am, but mind me French, I was shitting myself in the first game. But found my groove now, thanks to you and Webby.
Thanks very much, Lewis. And, well, here he is, Francis Ledger. I think you're coming across good. That's an example of the overcast skies. If it was a cricket game, we would get a lot of outswing today, and inswing. There is Koma Sampson, and that Ledger now is up to 28, in fact 30. 30-0. It's going to be a tough old second 40. Wide Chess Brown.
Stay line, time to run.
They'll be looking forward to the half-time break and just take a little bit of a breather. Extended half two with the injuries, as you would understand. Sala. Saki goes into acting half. Michael Key is introduced by Coach Hanley. Sampson. Ball's gone back, lost. And Waikato will finally get their hands on the ball. They've been denied that opportunity for some time, and the Falcons, they might just throttle off a little bit. And you'd understand if they did. Just on 3 minutes to play here in the first half, and already 30-0. A dominant performance by the Falcons.
Let's go, Akarana. Seconds.
Yeah, Waikato definitely need to try and get some points here before this half-time break, just to get a bit of confidence.
When you're ready,
They were very competitive
out.
down in Hamilton when they played last season. Perhaps they need an opportunity to work at home. This is through by Murray. show up onto the inside and look, the defence is there. They haven't had to do a great deal of it, to be honest. And so when that call is made of them, the Falcons in pretty good nick. Hayden Akarana. This is Reihana. Tairakina. Right in front of the posts. Chaz Solomon distributing now out to Darren Kingy. And Connick comes in. Connick's been very good. He's involved himself. He's a busy player. Plenty of ticker. Out to Akarana. Trying to steer that into the end goal. Any mistakes made? Well, something comes up trumps here for Waikato. They'll get a repeat set through Malcolm Noda, who was up quick.
That's exactly what Waikato needed. You know, hopefully this will bring them into the game a bit more and give them a bit more confidence to go out and attack this Akarana team.
Well, they haven't got much time for it, and that's possibly the disappointing part of the play.
Behind kicker, fellas.
But there he is, Hayden Akarana. Great servant, been around a long time in the Waikato strip. Under the post we go. Siaki with a restart. Not as deep as he might have liked. Watani gets it first up. And it goes there to Kepa. And Kepa to ground, 22 metres out. Just over a minute to play. If Waikato got a roll of the dice here, it could come up trumps for them and give them some level of confidence going into the second 40. Already, it's 5-0 from an impressive Falcons team. The Premiers for a reason. That pass has gone out wide. Play on, says referee Taylor. Still a chance. The countdown for the last minute is on. Waikato with an opportunity as Tainanga Hiwi will play it back for Solomon. Working it wide through Watani, now Akarana. And a ball that really needed to be taken wasn't. And so it will meander to a conclusion here at the back end of the first 40. Obviously concerns with and support for Pawhare Brown and also Damien Darlington, who went out injured, and we won't see their return, I suspect, in the second half. Although we'll get that confirmed through the break. But big ups to Makoe and Saki, Bernard and Ledger, and the final try scorer. So made it all look so very good. Thomas Sampson. Half time here, and it's a whopping 30-0 lead by the defending Premiers here in the first round of the NZRL Premiership at Mount Smart number 2. It's Akarana Falcons 30, Waikato 0.
It is all Akarana at half-time in Game 2, the grand final replay of 2017. They lead 30 points to 0. Siole Makawi with the first try, and then Pulima Siaki. Hasn't he been good today?
Oh, he's been outstanding. This was, off the back of, some scrappy sort of play. But, he beats 4 or 5 guys here. And for the fullback Siaki to be still sniffing around and waiting, it was available for that pass.
been a real lack of awareness defensively from Waikato today, but Siaki scores the try. This, by the way, came off that extra set, and as you were quite rightly saying, got really, really ugly. But the big men have been doing the job as well. Chase Bernard, watch this try from him, because this was just big man do the job.
Chase Bernard's been outstanding. He's probably been the pick of the bunch for this first half, but that's just determination. You know, McKelvey at hooker, he's been scheming all day.
Francis Ledger, this was actually a little bit too easy. Through 3, 4D.
Just poor, soft, you know, just a little bit of a show, just soft defence. And poor old Damien Darlington.
And again, you talk about D. Kuma Sampson, why they didn't hold him up here. Look, he just worked his way through, and that's just brute strength.
He had about 3 runs in that set, and each of them were very, very strong. And so he definitely deserved this try, and it's just willingness to keep working.
So at half-time in this grand final replay of 2017, while the Snakes are out, the energy, and that's probably, does that look like, oh, it's just one of the assistant coaches, David Barnett there, the former Warrior, and Keith Hanley just giving the final instructions. 30 points to 0. It seems easy going for Akarana right now, Webby. I mean, what do they do from here? Just same old, same old.
Waikato just need to try and put themselves back in this game, and just sheerly through, finishing their sets, getting a good kick away, and finishing deep in the other half.
And always at this level, the hard point is the mental game now. You're down by 30.
Yeah.
You got to go play another 40. How do you get yourself back into it mentally?
You've just got to believe that if things work a bit better and you keep working at stuff, that something's going to turn. But for Akarana, they've pretty much outclassed this Waikato team.
They're pretty handy up, and we said to you at the beginning of this match, Akarana have only been playing for a week. They've only been practicing for a week off the back of all the Fox celebrations and giving guys time to just back with family. So it's a pretty impressive start, and they've signalled to the rest of the comp, look out.
Definitely, and the coaching staff have obviously done a great job with these guys to only have them in it for a short period. But at times that can actually work in your favour.
Got to say, the one thing about Akarana that is really impressive to watch is the footwork of the big men. It is just pretty to watch, isn't it?
The middle's been great. Buchanan on this left edge, he's been great. And Bernard through the middle, the big boys that have come off the bench, I mean, they've all played their part.
It's not a hard game, is it? Just get your big boys going through and just roll off the back of it.
That's the one.
30 points to 0. Akarana, the defending champions, in charge in week 1 of the NZRL National Premiership. 30 points to 0. Waikato have a long way to go, but there is another 40 minutes to play. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Mount Smart, number 2, 30-0. The Falcons lead Waikato here in round 1 of the NZRL Premiership. Obviously an uphill battle for the visitors today, and having lost 2 players already to injury, that makes the hill to climb that much steeper.
Okay, stay on, kick out.
Kia ora, welcome to Sky Sports coverage of this championship. We're underway off the boot of Darren Kingy, and it'll be Conical take it in. We've seen some strange things happen in sport, and sometimes 12-man squads have lost one through injury or send-offs, and sometimes rally and put together some good periods of play. Obviously, you'd be a pretty brave betting man to suggest an upset by Waikato, but reputations are at stake here, and we've already mentioned the proud players who've turned out for the province in the years gone, so it's going to be a massive effort here for Waikato to stay in touch, or at least get some back after conceding 5 tries in the first 40 minutes. Dale Husband with you, with Lewis Brown and also Brent Webb. Great to have the guys in the chair for the first and hopefully not the last time, lads. It's good to be working with you here this afternoon. And here is the turnover straight away. Hayden Carliner comes up with the ball.
Yeah, just loose finish there from Akarana. You know, they probably want to come out this half and really ice the game. Keith Henley would have been happy with the way they sort of performed in that first 40, but you know, sort of going on, it's been the theme of the two games. The polish on the execution hasn't been there.
And then back play too, work going down on Taki Hohaya Mosen. With an injured hand, but he can hardly go off because they've got no replacements. So Waikato is there. Some special magic we're going to be witnessing here as Kardina gets the ball to Rongopai Murray, who comes in from the far side of the field. Now into the hands of Malcolm Noda, and Noda is bundled into touch. I'm sure he was waiting for a call, say held, it wasn't going to come. And of course the Falcons, they can high five now and they'll get the scrum feed just their side of the 20-metre line. And everything coming up roses for Keith Hanley's squad at the moment. In the background you see the ambulance.
Down 3.
In that ambulance is Damien Darlington.
Out!
He's getting treatment for what we assumed is maybe a fracture or perhaps even a broken ankle. Look to be at the lower part of the leg, but we'll get that clarified for you through the course of the second 40. Radu Buchanan again, always looks good with ball in hand. Waikato, he wanted to get one back. Whalelua, Malio and Suapoi really caused a lot of difficulty for them. Genuinely big men and hard as to contain Webby.
Yeah, and just the size of these men, but the way that they're carrying themselves out there, they've not seemed like they've struggled at all, and they've really done some good work through that middle.
Haven't had to do a lot of defending, Lewis, so I guess it just leaves a little bit more gas in the tank when they do get the ball in hand. It's an ominous sign for Morgan Kutia and the Waikato lads.
Yeah, I think, you know, when you're sort of completing your sets and your opposition's really, down, out in their feet, get their zip around the ruck, and the young hooker here for Akarana has been outstanding. So he's really laid the platform for his forwards, and the likes of Ledger and they're part of the back of it.
Here's Sampson now, and he's right in front of the posts. They scored very early on. In fact, it's maybe in the 7th minute that they got their first try. Matt Tuitama will step up and then dive over to score. He makes things look easy, Matt Tuitama, but he's got a whole lot of different skills that he can put together at any time. An outstanding year, as mentioned, and this time again, just another reminder of how dangerous he is close to the line.
He's quite an athlete, isn't he? The way he picked that ball up from around his shoelaces, able to find his feet again and find a way to get over the line.
Yeah, good work there by the halfback Connick too. Obviously, you've got big men outside you like Tuitama and stuff like that, so you want to kind of get them early ball, and they can cause trouble like that.
He's sort of got a back rows build, hasn't he, Matt? Matthew Tuitama. And, he's very, very good on his feet. Committed defender. And, of course, always keeping opposition defensive lines guessing with his savvy footwork at the line. You're saying, Lewis, that there was a threat of him never playing again. We're talking Francis Ledger here after having that neck injury. He's been playing some great ball considering he must have been toying with the idea of giving away the game.
It just sort of shows the type of mental toughness the kid has. He's got a big frame for a half, but he's very skillful with the ball, and he seems like a real leader in this Akarana team.
A smooth rhythm. He's been faultless off the tee today. And that's try number 6. Converted, all converted. 36-6 as we see the leaping Tuitama.
Time run.
The restart from Kingy. We're hoping to either jar the ball loose or see an unforced error.
Oh, good one. Good day.
Falidor Malio with that carry. Now, Suapoi,
Stand. Here we are. Watch out, Livin. Keep
big and bigger, because big is good. That's what they say. It's not just in the ad. In rugby league terms, Webby.
Mate, big is great, but to have these big boys able to, with the skill as well to go along with it, it's impressive.
Danger. Oh, look at that. Well, this is going to end up in a cricket score. As a little bit of weaving proves fortuitous here. And it's Chaz Brown. He's had a great year already with Glenora, but this time around he's just making it look so easy. And the scary bit is that the score could blow out into embarrassing proportions, Lewis.
Yeah, you've got to be careful here, Waikato. They've got to try and dig themselves out of this hole. Great footwork from Chaz Brown and a great last name to go with it.
Webbies, there any Webbies in there? I definitely can't see any husbands out there, but there's plenty of Brown players. No shortage of them, Lewis Brown. What's happening with you, Lewis?
Not too sure, mate.
Okay, is it one of those situations?
Yeah, it's just up in the air at the moment. I'm to and fro on what I want to do, and it's going to take the next few weeks to decide what direction I want to go in, and whether that's continuing on playing footy or if that's coming into the real world and getting my hands dirty.
Okay, sounds good. Have you prepared for post-career?
Yeah, I'm slowly getting into that now. I've always been into fashion and clothes, and I'm about to release my own clothing line called Earls. So
Cool.
something different, but something I'm very passionate about too.
Great. Do you make them in 3XL?
4XL, bro.
Oh, 4XL? Okay, fair enough.
We've got, I think we've got 5XL for Steve McGuiver.
I don't know about that. He's looking pretty trim. And from Waikato, this is Francis's first miss. But a big scoreline there as well. So it's called Earl.
Yeah, Earls, yes, my middle name.
Okay.
So just kept it original. And when I was a kid, I never liked the middle name, but it's grown on me, and hopefully I can make a little bit of land out of it.
Sounds good, mate. Oh, you're a pretty stylish dude. What's this guy's fashion, or are you going to be looking at?
Stay behind, kick
Nah,
out.
strictly men at the moment. I've got to crawl before I can walk, so I'll be leaving the women's stuff to the ladies just for now.
Okay. Well, good luck whichever direction you head in, Lewis. I know I speak on behalf of a lot of league people who've really appreciated your attitude to sport, irrespective of which team you're playing. And I know sometimes guys can hang their lip a little bit if they end up in what's reserve grade or ISP or the like, but you never did. Always gave your all, and I think we're seeing that too in guys who return back to club football. And I called a game the other week with in the second division here in Auckland in the Sharman Cup final. And of course you had Ben Henry playing at halfback and passing it to Jerome Ropati at standoff. Local footy. The God Squad, it's called, Bay Russell, because it's a church team.
Great duo there, those two, aren't they?
Yeah, aren't they? And they really had their way too. They're going up into the Fox Championship next year.
There's a fair chance I could pull on the boots one day for the great Riccarton Knights down in Christchurch there, so we'll see what
The
happens.
great Riccarton Knights. Just while we've got a chance too, is the Scrumpbacks. What about you, Webby? It's your junior club, where you first played rugby league.
Yeah, junior club back in Cairns, North Queensland, Cairns Kangaroos.
The Cairns Kangaroos.
Pretty famous club up those ways. Justin Hodges came out of there, and Gavin Allen, whoever remember that far back. But yeah.
Cairns Kangaroos. Here's a break, and this is what we were hoping might spring out of the Waikato adversity. There's been plenty of that so far, as they've conceded try after try, and some solid D on the far side. But Waikato in possession now around the halfway mark. Up the inside now, through the middle. 35 metres out from the try line. The number 5 is up to play the ball. It's Ngā Hiwi. This is Huirama.
On the line.
Wrapped up by
Good
his
three.
opposite number, that is. And Jordan Taidakina. Ledger across the top in the tackle. Malcolm Noda slides into acting half, but really would love to get a bit of a boost. The crossfield kick, well, that beats everyone as well. Darren Kingy. Hopefully, I would like to see that go through the hands, but perhaps just hoping for a good bounce.
I thought it was a good option. He just overkicked it a little.
20 Reese. It's gone dead. Okay.
A little bit heavy
Sorry, guys,
there.
it's
Webby
there. Wait.
lacking some finesse. Chaz Brown again.
Hold! Let him up! Hold, one.
Looking for a bit more work as Lil Faliano getting cold out in the wing.
Hold!
Up the middle he comes. Bernard. It's been superb, not just today, but right through the year. Connick. The self-preservation there as he ducks underneath a tackle that he thought might go high. Dennis from Waikato. And here's the hole. Here he's been so good, hasn't he? He's away from one. Chase, Ledger. It's gone forward. It's almost a training run, really, for the Akarana Falcons at the moment.
It is, but Bernard, you're definitely right. He's been great all day.
There's another look. So it bursts through. And this pass here, just trying to pop it to Ledger. In fact, the pass from Bernard was hot. We'll give him the seal of approval for that pass. Ledger's offload, not quite so. There's the Steeden. Camera shot that one, I always like it. The ball, grass, and the field in the background. So, here's Darren Kingy, quick play the ball. Let's see if Waikato might be able to muscle something up. Through the middle they go. Michael Key is defending strongly as well. He's in 23 for the Falcons. The defending premiers, Watane. Ivan Watane, that was too high. Michael Key apologises to both the referee and to the man who got the whack. Watane. Kingy to the southern touchline. The tries have come thick and fast. 30-0 at half time from McCoy, Saki, Bernard, Langer, Ledger, sorry, and also Sampson. And Tuitama with one just a few minutes into the second half. Waikato, Rehana Tailakina now. 15 metres out from the try line. Can they work some magic? Down the right side, this is Kingy. Gets the ball through to Dennis. Dennis, but Ginger getting to his feet. Kingy and Akarana. Out the back, Akarana finds Murray. And he bundled towards touch and realised he wasn't going to get there. Chaz Solomon offloads the ball. And again, Waikato no way through this solid Falcons defensive line.
It was a decent shot. The inside here from Akarana just kept working really, really hard, and they just ran out of space on this edge.
Solomon tries to pop it back on the inside, but no good for them this time around. And just might back the scrum down, and Ledger will do that. It's on the 10-metre line, and the Falcons enter the ground. Yali Tuingamala finally is allowed to get to his feet and to play the ball. October 13, Mount Smart Stadium. JKs and the Junior Kangaroos, the two respective international women's teams, and of course the Kiwis against Australia. We get all that action here on Sky. And the following week, Tonga and Australia how remarkable that's going to be as well for Tonga. A chance to have a tilt at the team to beat an international rugby league. And pretty exciting last year in the World Cup, Lewis. What do you make of that potential clash?
Yeah, I think it's great for rugby league, just breaking boundaries. Hopefully we can see it as an ongoing event each year, and you've seen these tier 2 teams come up with lots of talent, the Pacifica teams mostly. It'd be nice to see maybe the Kiwis or Australia go back to the islands and play a game one day, and once we get to that point, but really great for international rugby league.
Well, I know that I live in a suburb that's got a whole lot of Tongan residents, and mate, it was the wildest scene you ever can imagine. They'd stop the streets and they're flying their flags, screaming from the rooftops. That was after they lost. That was our Tongan supporters. They just had a whale of a time. And the clash with England was just outstanding. The whole stadium emblazoned in red and white. We'll see it again too. There'll be a bit of green and gold, but they'll be tucked away in the corner. It'll be red and white big time on the 20th of October. That ball's jarred loose. Connick gets hold of it and knock on by whom? Let's just check which way referee Taylor sees this one. Obviously, well, I thought for a moment it might be a Falcons feed. It's not. It's a Waikato feed. And here's Ivan. That's a knock on. Well, they can only get better, really. Waikato. I'll get home and have a look at the footage and say, well, we didn't start very well, but we're under pressure from the get-go, losing our prop forward. But really, the defence of the Falcons it's just been too tight-fisted at the moment. They're not letting anyone get anywhere near them. Perhaps this man might have a say in it. This is Piripi Parangi. So he's on the 20-metre line. I know plenty of you at home will be hoping that Waikato will get across because that's the Kiwi way. Supporting the underdog, let's see what they can deliver. Rana Dennis, a little bit of one out running at the moment by the visitors. Waikato, of course this is a repeat of last year's grand final. There was 30 points in it then. And at the moment there's even more than that, 36-0, 38-0, excuse me. At the moment. So Parangi is as close as Waikato have been all game to collecting points. Finally is there. Malcolm Noda into dummy half. Which way will Noda go? Well, he threads the needle and Waikato are there. And what a run. It looked good too, and it's Huirama. Taimainu Huirama, who is the recipient of the grubber kick, craftily weaved through into the end goal, and the back row is in there to capitalise. The first point scored by Waikato took a long time, but they're finally in.
It's a great little kick from Noda, just to look up and to have that man there score the try in a little bit of space. They've really worked hard to put themselves back into this half anyway. So a bit of reward there. Good for Waikato.
Yeah, he's pretty lucky there, I thought. I thought he was a little bit offside, but hey, like you create your own luck. But credit to the Waikato boys. This could have really got ugly, but they've keep turning up. They're down on the scoreboard, but they showed plenty of mana, as they call it, down in the Waikato.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's when you look at that, it's 8-4, isn't it? The scoreline for the second half. We've gone 20 minutes. That's a good point you make there, Lewis Earl Brown. Lewis Earl Menswear.
Thank you, Dale Husband.
Thanks very much. So, looking to add the extras here with Hayden Akarana. The Seagulls, they're very annoying. You know about the Seagulls at Mount Smart Stadium though, don't you, Lewis? And you as well. Webby. They've sort of made this area home.
Don't feed them.
Don't feed them. Haven't they got sound systems that that make the noise of is it pigeons that keep them away or something?
I think it's pukekos.
Pukekos keep them away, do they? 38-6. Kia ora to our whānau down there in Waikato watching on. I know you had expectations of, you know, an uplifting performance today. It wasn't to be. They were a bit gun-shy right from the get-go as a result of what happened in the early exchanges. But, you know, as Lewis has just touched on, credit to the attitude they've displayed here in the second half. And remember, they're playing this half with only 15 at Coach Kutia's disposal. So it's been a pretty solid performance. Here's your try scorer, Huirama. Suele Makawi is was the tackler. And giving the ball a little bit of air. Akarana is corralled on the far side of the field. Well, that was a poor delivery there. Kingy popped the pass, it was drifting forward anyway, and a penalty to follow up on it. Just on 18 to play, 38-6 scoreline here. Again, if you've just joined us later in the afternoon, earlier today, it was the Bulls playing against the Stingrays in the opening salvo of this Premiership. And a close game, 20-18, the Bulls. A last-minute try after a mistake by the winger, Edwards. He went to catch the ball and it ended up going to ground, and then Ela Leo pounced on it and scored for a 2018 result. David Barner back into the mix. You might remember David, he was in injury curtailed his dreams of NRL success. Went over to Newcastle but never really got going. I think his knees give him some trouble. The pass then forward. Good to see David out there. Some talk that he wouldn't play footy again. Keith Hanley showing confidence in him by choosing him in this representative fixture. One of the few, well, there's quite a few Mindians who play rugby league, Māori Indian connections. You've heard the term before, Webby?
I've not heard that one. You've just
Mindians.
taught me something there.
Oh, there we are. There we go.
Where are they from, bro?
Well, they're from here, bro. And they're from over there as well, bro.
Delhi.
It's that interesting connection. Yeah, well, you know, there's that line too. Many good Delhi players. Fantastic. You know some of those connections too, Lewis?
Mindians. There's a couple getting around the NRL, bro.
Yeah, oh, there are. I think there's another one in here in the training squad as well.
I think the biggest, I think the most profile of them all probably Benji Marshall.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Kia ora to you, Benji. Benji down from Rātuki. It's been great seeing his career, in the comeback, Lewis, and that gives us some confidence that you two can kick on. I don't know how old Benji is. He's early 30s now.
Yeah, 34, I think. But it's just showing like what type of bloke he is and what sort of leadership he has, and he's come back to the Tigers and really turned them into, giving them a bit of oomph this year. And I know for a fact that Ivan Cleary's very, very happy with the way he took it on himself to be a real leader within the squad.
And he did too. It's good to see him going well. The rugby experiment didn't work, and even though he's in the franchise here in the Queen City, it just didn't happen for him. Don't completely blame him as well. Some administrative issues, I think, curtailed the potential in that little move. But anyway, back to the action here in Waikato. Well, they're just lifting themselves, and maybe the Falcons have clocked off somewhat, but taking nothing away from the visitors' efforts. Used the term mana, and there's plenty of that, although that kick wasn't so smart. And Connick is tagged with the ball about 15 metres from the line. An enthusiastic burst. That's from Tuingamala. Lofalialo, formerly Maris, now with the West Aucklanders and with the Glenora Bears. It's deemed to have been played at. Ivan Martini. is deemed to have stripped the ball. Might have been a bit tough on him, but now the kick to the far side of the field. 38-6 and just on 14 to play here. Pretty decent performance from Waikato in the second half. Here's Tuitama. Can they hold out the Falcons? I'll be thinking it's about their time to score right now. Still alive through Ledger and out wide. Out to Simon. 15 from the line. Michael Key has the ball. Watanet grabs Key. Inside ball that easy for the big man. And what about that one? It's a double movement.
Lucky there, I thought. I thought he held that ball carrying arm off the ground, the elbow.
Yeah, well, we'll get a chance to have another look at it. Of course, Simon Taylor has to make the call on the run. Let's have a look here. Bernard's been one of the best right throughout. Reached out for it, but denied the try on the scoreboard.
It was that same play from earlier, the first try that Bernard scored. Exactly the same play. So I think I'm with Louis there.
You know, he obviously is confident of his skills close to the line, because normally those plays would be wrapped up. There'd be a wall put up there, but Bernard's able to get across with regularity when others can try the move, but come up empty-handed. He's very good close to the line, Chase Bernard. So Waikato have the ball on the far side of the field. They'll put it back through the hands of Kingy. Kingy looking for a runner. Up the middle goes Huidama. He pops the pass as well to Solomon, who's reined in about 22 from the try line. Well, Waikato got something to make us smile with. Here is Kingy. Kingy holds it up nicely for Karina. Karina gets the short ball and picks up Taki Hohaya Mosen. Now he is only 8 metres out from the try line. And here's Karina, ducking, diving, scheming and skiving, but he can't quite come up with the play that results in the try. It's a turnover. Falcons get it right in front of their posts. Hands in there. Referee Simon Taylor's controlled the game well. Come down to just on 11 minutes to play here. Next week, more action coming to you as well from the National Premiership. Action on Saturday from here, from Mount Smart. Following Saturday from Christchurch, and then Sunday from Hamilton. So we're getting around a little. These top 4 teams, home and away opportunities. Waikato much better at home. It will be, I'm sure, as Ledger finds Lua Falealo down the right edge. He gets it back on the inside for Chaz Brown. But that one has gone forward as well. And we'll set the scrum here.
I think the Akarana coach, Keith Henley, would be a bit disappointed the way his team's sort of gone about things here in the second half. They've probably gone into the trap thinking they'll throw the ball around a bit, obviously having that lead, but it's been a bit they've been a bit off the last 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, a bit ho-hum really.
Yeah.
And Keith, he'll cut them some slack. Cody Walker in there giving them a hand, but he'll cut them some slack, but he'll say, hey guys, you know, we had an opportunity to work on our combinations. We'll get tougher games coming up. And one of the tough games will be against, your lot from Canterbury. They proved pretty resilient and a good attitude in the game earlier today.
Yeah, they first up performance, and they had some great young debutants in there. The young halfback Brad Campbell really took my eye, and hopefully they can build on the next few weeks and get a final.
Absolutely. And just while Waikato will work their way forward into the last 10 minutes. Webber, you played some footy this year, did you? Did you have a club game or something?
No, there was a bit of talk about it, but no.
Oh, you didn't end up.
I didn't end up playing.
Okay.
No. Just the old boys keep trying to get me out there.
Okay. You're looking for a run in the Māori tournament? Might have a little spot for you. We'll have a chat after this game, all right, Webby? I think it's great that you've decided to stay with us, mate. You know, a lot of guys come across from Oz and can't wait to get back over there to the land of sand.
She's a beautiful place, Auckland, New Zealand.
There we go. Get you a roll with Auckland Tourism. Up here he is. Tuitama, how good's he been? And he finds Siaki on his hip, and Siaki gets across the line, reaches out with one hand. Class act, Tuitama. And Polema Siaki's just been waiting for his opportunity. They haven't scored as prominently or proficiently as they did in the first half, but that one was certainly a fine try, and the fullback gets in just to the left-hand side of the post strongly.
Yes, that combination again on the left-hand side there with Connick and Tuitama. Early ball, dropping someone under, and then just using his footwork and having the vision to see the fullback creeping up on the inside there.
Yeah, and Siaki, he's been sniffing around all day. He's done some really good stuff through that middle, and yeah, as all good fullbacks, they should be on the end of all of those sprays.
So there he is. Polema Siaki, yeah, he's this the build of a. Hey, he reminds me of you actually, Webby, because he's not a big, tall guy. Sometimes coaches opt for tall, lanky sort of fullbacks, and then at other times, nippy, smaller guys. And Polema's no giant, but he's very effective, as you were as well. What do you sense in his game that appeals?
I'd guess it would be his support play. That's really stood out for me today. He's just put himself around the field, and yeah, he's always been involved in everything that's been going on. So yeah, I'm guessing that's why Keith Hanley has him in this squad.
And Tez Brown is successful with his first attempt at goal. As the saying goes, but a Brown never let you down, eh, Lewis?
That's the one. That's
it.
the one, right?
That's it, mate.
I like that one.
Okay. Might start a clothing label. So there he is, Polema Siaki's superb year for the Glenora Bears. He lost their first game and they went through the entire season unbeaten, right through to the grand final. And of course, only one try scored in that grand final. I was amazed at a 6-0 scoreline, but that's the way it stayed. The try was scored early in the match. And there was 70 minutes of to and froing, tough as. And Epelahami Loaki was in the mix. Last season, Hami Loaki absolutely monstered the Point Chevalier Pirates, but this year they put a big guy up against him, Hami. Pakiafu was listed to play here, but didn't today. He's a giant himself. Now they sort of nullified each other, and it's a very intriguing contest. And congratulations to Point Chevalier, as mentioned early on. Simon Taylor is a bit concerned about something. And we'll just have a little bit of a listen here. Listen in if we can. Okay, Simon's microphone, it's Simon Taylor. We can't hear from him today, but the number 8 is getting some attention. Kiriona Pasini. Big ups to the connections, the trainers, the physios. We work really hard to make sure things on the field are right. Back to the action. We're just on 5 to play. 44 points to 6. I remind you, it was 30-0 at halftime. You thought, well, we knew the game was gone, really, from Waikato's perspective. But to their credit, they've fought hard here in the second half without 2 of their players as well. Suapoe. Some of these big men have been, well, in training, I guess, since maybe December. It's been a long season for them. David Barner enacting half onto Ledger. And they'll kick in the hope of catching the Waikato defence at 6s and 7s, and their plan works superbly. Tainingaki just a little mistake at the back.
Yeah, I don't know how he's claiming this this went back, but yeah, these errors really do kill you. And Waikato have done so well in this second half to drag themselves, you know, out of where they were in the first half. But things like that they're tough.
Well, listen, Lewis, it brings us to that time of the game when you can start evaluating players. We'll be seeing a bit more of them over the next few weeks. And in fact, one of the calls coming out of your hometown, I hope you'll be down there for it, who have stood out for you, firstly, from the Falcons, who have enjoyed, at this stage, a 7-try-to-1 advantage. But there've been some classy showings by Keith Hanley's men who have stood out for you.
Yeah, I think the hooker, but he's wearing number 3, Makawi. He's a big reason why their attack was running so smoothly in the first half. He's really scheming, like Webby said earlier, and he's got those outside defenders looking in, so they're turning their backs on the outside attackers, and that creates difficult things on the edges. So he's very crafty around the ruck, and he's very, very tight when it comes to defence also. So he's a great young talent.
Well, he did captain the Pirates to the Fox this year, CLE, so he's got a bit of experience and obviously some footy now. Says the Waikato boys give something a bit of a try on the far side of the field. Back it comes now, and they'll get it right across to the left-hand side. The floating ball way out wide to Tairākena, and then a decent chase as well. Chaz Brown's been good. You know, stand out from Waikato. It's been hard to get a read on them really in the fact that they've been chasing right from the get-go, but perhaps some that might have stood out for you from over the hill.
Yeah, I'd probably say that the young hooker as well, Nader. He's made the most of his opportunity. He created the only try for a good little kick there, and he's gone about his work all day. Hasn't let them certainly let them down in defence. He's been strong through there, and he's provided great service.
Well, it's the first game for the franchise in this campaign, Webby. And, well, we don't need to single out players so much. What do you think that the Waikato need to do to improve before the next outing?
Just being able to do the basics, get through your sets, get a good kick on the end of them, and then back it up with some good defence. The rest of it is, you can kind of do on the go, but just those real basics of the game are so important.
It's a simple game in that regard, isn't it? And that's part of its appeal. To control your sets and try and dominate field position. So they're well capable. They'll be much tougher in their own arena with their families, the stands supporting them. But you must take your hat off to the Akarana Falcons and indeed to Keith Hanley and his connections for the way that they've prepared this team. It's been 4 weeks since Waikato Club Rugby concluded. Taniwharau, of course, the victors there. A bit shorter time for the locals here from Tamaki, from Auckland. So perhaps that explains somewhat that they came to the start today firing. We'll just pay tribute to those in the background as well. Phil Gordon and Cody Walker are the assistant coaches for Keith Hanley. The manager, Jamie Walker. And also to Morgan Cucci and Chris Langley. Chris, of course, the assistant coach to Morgan and manager for the Waikato men under Paul. Marion Haggie was the head trainer. And thank you to you for hopefully enjoying the footy here this afternoon. There might be another twist to the tail on the far side of the field. And of course, Stephen will have our post-match interviews as well. But in a strange sort of way, it's been a pretty decent performance by Waikato here in the second half. Bearing in mind they were down 30-0 at half-time, so a 14-6 scoreline. In the second half, Lewis, not so bad.
Yeah, not so bad at all. So, they've got something to build off for next week. Real positive. Keeping the reigning Premiership, winners to only having 6 or 8 points in the to their score in the second half. So. There's some positives to take out of it. They'll go away, train hard this week, and they've got a big game down in Canterbury next week.
Yeah, well, there's a bit to build on here as Akarana pushes it out wide. The defence has been superb today, Akarana. Attack, of course, well, they've been able to make inroads with relative ease at times. Not in the second half, though. Certainly in that first half, where the tries came thick and fast through McCoy and Siaki, through Bernard, Ledger, and Sampson. And 30-0 at the halftime break. The game was pretty much done. And then Tuitama and Siaki have scored in the second half. And Huirama also for Waikato after that little kick through from Noda. Chaz Brown's been good too out wide. There have been some strong performances across the board. Bradley Buchanan and Tuitama perhaps the best of them. Well, there is the hooter, and Waikato have stayed in the hunt. Down 30-0 at half-time, but at full-time, it's 44 to the Akarana Falcons, and Waikato 6. Well, there's Francis Ledger coming on through, and he'll be satisfied with his efforts today. David Barner being congratulated, Suapoi, outstanding. Chase Bernard, another wonderful effort today. And for Waikato, Tairākina, and also Huirama and Kārenga working hard. Let's go down here from Francis Ledger. He's with Stephen McIver on field.
Francis, not a bad effort for a week's training together, is it?
Yeah, not a bad effort. Still a bit scrappy there in the second half, but it's good because there's something to work on for this week and leading into next week.
A couple of big boys out there, Tuitama and Chase Bernard. They really set a nice platform.
I think for those two, they're big but they're mobile, so it gives us that little bit of advantage to get that go forward with their footwork and whatnot, so pretty good.
What's next, though? I mean, you've got counties next week, haven't you? Now, that's a game to look forward to, is it not?
Yes, definitely. Counties is obviously in the Fox Memorial, so we all know each other. We play against each other weekly, so it'll be a good battle, and we look forward to it.
If we were to look at things you need to work on, would it be just consistency like the second half? You let them back into it?
Yes, definitely. And our discipline, I think we went away from the game plan in the second half. I think we had the good game plan at the first half, but we fell away once we started getting that lead. So I think next week we just got to work on that, I reckon.
Well done, though. Better for the run.
Cheers. Thank you very much. Can I just say a quick shout out to my wife, Chelsea, and my 3 kids, Kyrie, Aaron, and Shai. Thank you.
Thanks, Francis. Let's bring in Taimanu Huirama from Waikato. Well, better second half. Let's talk about the second half.
Okay. Yeah, happy with that. Hey, yeah, no, we faced a classy outfit today, Akarana. We knew they were going to be tough, coming off the back of pretty much majority of them being in their top 2 sides and their Fox side, so we knew it was going to be a tough battle out there. Hey, big ups to our boys. They dug deep, and we've got such a proud history back in the Waikato. So unfortunately, we weren't able to do it for them back at home. But hey, we left it all out on the field today.
Lots to work on. I think you'd look at the starts, particularly when you face Canterbury next week. You've got to start much better.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a grind, believe me. But hey, you know that we had a lot of debutants in the team and a lot of young fellas that will be better from this. So hopefully they realise what they're going to be up for next week, and we put a bit of effort in. Yeah.
You can brag you got on the board too, by the way, in the skipper.
Well, that's the Andy run out the way, eh? So you know, pleased with that.
Well done, and the best of luck against Canterbury next week, bud.
Hey, awesome, thank you. And I just want to say big shout out to our partner media at home and the kids. Cheers, boys.
Thanks, mate. Well played.
Thank you.
It's a nice touch, really, when young footballers acknowledge those supporters. 44-6, the Falcons too good for Waikato today, but there's still plenty of football still to come, and plenty to come too as we wrap up from Mount Smart number 2. You're watching Sky Sport, and we'll be back in a moment.
44 points to 6, the final score. Akarana with a resounding win in their first run of the New Zealand National Premiership over Waikato. Louis Brown, Brent Webb. Just quickly, Akarana have sent the benchmark.
Yeah, well, reigning champs, aren't they? So they came out today and they really stamped their fork in the ground, and that's where they're going to head.
Webby?
Yeah, they were just dominant all day. Waikato, unfortunately, just struggled to contain that. That forward pack was outstanding.
Yeah, but a lot of big ticker too from Waikato, as you heard their captain at the end of the day. So as we will show now, Akarana, top of the points table, and of course Kādi's Manukau will be number 2, both of them with the wins. The games next weekend are going to be interesting. Waikato, I wouldn't want to be going to Canterbury.
No, it's cold down there, and obviously they've got a few injuries, some big injuries too going down there. So they'll see where they come this week.
But that Falcons Stingrays, the local derby, that'll be an absolute corker.
It should be a bell ringer, shouldn't it? So they both performed quite well today. So, but I think this Akarana team might have a little bit extra.
All right, lads, we are done for the first weekend of the NZRL National Premiership on behalf of Dale Husband and these two mugs. Trust you've enjoyed the footy this afternoon. There's a whole heap to come, and don't forget the NRL Final Series. It rolls on live on the home of the great game, Sky Sport.